Hey everybody, welcome. It's Andrew Ainsworth Golf Academy. As always, very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in, watching the video today. A little bit different. We're over in the workshop area today. Now, confession time, I guess. Years ago, I did a video on how to refurbish golf clubs or repolish golf clubs, and it's the most viewed video of all my videos. I've got approaching nearly 400 videos now. And this video, for some reason, keeps getting watched and watched and watched. It's had a crazy amount of views by my standards. The big problem is it's rubbish. I took a set of old Callaway irons and I repolished them, buffed them up, but I didn't actually, and I showed the start of the iron, what it looked like, and then I showed what it looked like at the end, but I didn't actually show the polishing process. So quite rightly, people watch this video and say that's a waste of my life, the last 5-6 minutes. So I do apologise, but it was a long time ago. Since then I've redone that video a little bit and showed the polishing process. But what I want to do today is I get a lot of people asking about how do you repolish clubs and what do you do. And I thought I'd give you a little bit more in-depth look at if that's something you want to try yourself or you're just interested in refurbishing a golf club, making it look a little bit better, how we do it. So stay tuned and we're going to take you right through it all. Be right back. Okay everybody, first of all let's tell you a little bit about the equipment. With this sort of thing it's a question of how deep you want to get into it. I've pretty much got all the equipment you need to refurbish golf clubs here, but you know, this is something that you can just start off slow with. If you're going to try and have a good go at this, the first thing you're going to need is a bench grinder or a bench polisher. Now I'm going to put lots of links down below, so if you do want to look at purchasing some of this equipment, it'll give you an idea. But this is just a normal bench grinder. It's made by Draper. I don't actually grind metal on this, so don't worry. People say, oh, there's no guard on this wheel. I don't use this wheel at all. And what you get in some of these repolishing kits is you get this adapter, which you just clip on here. Quick thing about health and safety. You want to be very, very careful if you're using this equipment. I would recommend that you wear gloves, protective gloves. I'm definitely going to be wearing something to protect my eyes, and I'm also going to be wearing a face mask because there's going to be quite a lot of dust coming off these machines once we get polishing. So safety first, always be careful. Don't wear any loose clothing which can get tangled up and all that sort of stuff, so just be sensible. So what happens is we have what we call these mops. Okay, we have different types of mops for doing different types of material. Now we're going to be working on some stainless steel golf clubs today. The first thing we might look at is how we get some of the deep scratches out, and to do that I have a little handheld Dremel cordless which has all these different attachments. These are all different grades of wire, wool and brushes, and you can see I've got sandpaper on this one, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So that's a great tool. The Dremel tool is fantastic if you just want to start off doing a little bit of polishing at home. Brilliant bit of kit. Not cheap, but you know, you can decide how much you want to spend on it. So going back to these wheels, these size, I think it's called Sisal. What we do is we start off with the grey and we then apply a compound to it. Now this compound is an abrasive compound which is going to start getting the scratches out. So we start with the grey and then we move over onto the green, apply the compound onto that one, and then we finally finish off with the blue mop here, which is really going to bring it to sort of a mirror shine. So I'm going to take you through that process. So we'll just whip the camera back round the other way and we can get going. So I would say the first question you've got to ask yourself before you start thinking about refurbishing a club is, you know, just how far do you want to go with this? You'll get golf clubs which on the sole of the club is where a lot of the damage is done, isn't it? We get stone chips and we hit off paths and things like that, and we get big dents or chunks of metal removed. You can see this is an old Ben Hogan iron from the 70s, which we're gonna repolish or refurbish for you in a minute. It's got lots of dings because it's a forged club. It's got lots of little dings and nicks in here, scratches and things like that. So I will be showing you the process of how I get out some of these stone chips and things like that. But don't be fooled here, folks. You're not going to get every little imperfection out of this club. because the only way you do that is to actually have them re-chrome, which is hugely expensive. This is just to show you how you might go about refurbishing and making a club look better. So decide first of all, do you just want to give this head a little bit of a polish up, or do you want to start grinding out some of these stone chip marks in the bottom? So that would be the first decision I would make. So first process is we're going to get this club over on the bench here, and I'm going to start trying to get out some of these stone chips. So I'm just going to get my gear on and then we'll get going. Okay everybody, I'm going to be out of shot for a lot of these pictures that you're going to see, because I want you to see as much detail as you can. I've got the Ben Hogan 3-iron clamped into the vise here, and what I'm after is I'm going to try and get some of these deep gouges out. So I'm going to use the Dremel. I've got a glove on, I've got my eye protection on, and I've got a sandpaper attachment on here. These things spin at pretty high speeds, going to make quite a lot of noise. So you've got to be careful, because effectively here, as we try and take out some of these gouges, we are going to be removing some of the chrome on the club. So, we can't put back what we take away. I will be able to take a little layer of chrome off and then repolish it up. So let's get in there and show you what we're going to do. So just go gentle to start with, don't go crazy. A lot of this is trying to get a little bit of a feel for it. And hopefully you can see here already how, see this little scratch here, this is kind of like been hit off a path or something like that. If I go easy on this, I'll be able to take this bit off and smooth it out. See what I mean? Quite a deep gouge here towards the toe, and I'm just going along the bottom of the leading edge here. So already there I've been able to remove quite a lot of the dents and scratches. What I'm going to lightly do is just go across the whole of the bottom of this plate here. I don't want to go too deep, because I don't want to lose any of this lettering and damage it. So I'm just going to go softly across it. Just taking out a lot of those nicks and dings and imperfections, but I'm not trying to dig too deep into the chrome here. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, just got a little bit more on this. I'd like to just remove, grind out. And it's a patience thing, this. My wife will laugh because she says I'm the most impatient person in the world, and on certain things I am, but on other things like this I am quite patient. So there's sort of stage one done on the bottom edge of the club. Let's spin some cameras around and show you what we're going to do next. Right, so that's one of the more delicate processes done. I've ground out the bottom of the club on the sole, got some of these deep nicks out. You can see I've got all my protective gear on, I've got my gloves on, I've got an apron. Apron's just to stop me ruining my nice golf clothes. And most important of all, I've got some eye protection on. Now people say, oh, the chance of you know, what happens if one of these wheels pings off and hits you in the eye, game over. We've only got one pair of eyes, haven't we? So you've got to be ultra careful here. I can't stress the safety element enough. So what we're going to do next is put on our first mop, and it's this one. This is the hardest one that we've got to start with. And all we do is we just wind that onto the wheel there. It locks in position. I'll set the machine going in a minute, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some of this polishing compound, which is just like a bar of wax. That's going to go on here, and I'm going to start polishing. I'm going to be starting on this sole, and you'll see how this sole here will start to come up. I'll get rid of all these scratches. I'll start working on the back of the club. I'll start working on the hosel of the club. I've put some tape around the ferrule. The ferrule is just a little plastic thing here, just so I don't destroy that. And I'm just going to work on, I'm not going to do the face yet, I'm going to do the face at the end, show you how I do that. 3 stages to this polishing. We'll stop the tape, we'll stop the machine after every process and show you what the club's looking like. So let's go, let's fire it up. again everybody, hope you can hear me. I'm going to have to shout a bit noisy this one. I've just zoomed in. I'm just going to apply some of this compound now to the wheel. Just a couple of seconds. And in we go. Try and not get in the way too much so you can see what's going on. I'm just applying a gentle bit of pressure here. Just going along the sole of the club, working on that first of all. I've got gloves on so my hands are protected. Not going to hurt me if I touch it. And what you want to try and do is go in sort of different directions. Just being patient, letting the machine do the work. Apply a little bit of pressure when you need it, back off when you don't. It's very touchy-feely process this. And we'll start microfiber cloth, always good. And even just after a couple of minutes here, you'll start to see how things are starting to look pretty good. So I'm going to keep working away on this. I'm not going to show you all of this process because the video will last about an hour long. I'm just going to polish all the rest of this head with this first stage, and then we'll come back and do stage 2. Grinding away. Let's take my goggles off. Let's take everything off here. Gloves for a minute. Quick rub over. Remember, this is just stage 1 that I've done here. So have a little look at the club after stage 1. Remember the sole of the club? That was pretty rough, wasn't it? Full of dents and dings, and already that's starting to look pretty good. All of these little dings and nicks here, I'm not going to worry about those. I mean, I don't want to wreck this club, but you can see how it's already starting to get a little bit of shine to it. I haven't touched the face, I'll do that at the end. So what I'm going to do now is whip that grey mop off. That was the hardest compound. Put the green mop on, which is the next stage. Fire the machine up in a minute, put all my protective gear back on. And then what we'll do is we'll apply the next compound and go through the next stage of polishing. Okay, going on, green compound. And we repeat the process. Yeah, just going easy. Working on the hobble of the club. Probably wearing these masks, it does tend to steam the old goggles up a little bit. So, worth it. Just working my way around the club, making sure I hit every bit of it. This compound, which is working its magic, changing directions. Should do it. Okay, gloves off, microfiber cloth. You've got to rub down again, and this is really starting to look pretty good after stage 2. It's amazing. It's probably one of the most satisfying jobs that you can do. Really, you take something that's kind of old and looking a bit worn out, and you're kind of bringing it back, not to new, but certainly now starting to look a bit more like it did when it came out the factory. Look at this bottom of the club now. Not bad, is it? I'm going to show you how we work on the face in a minute, but there we go. Right, so we go to stage 3. Stage 3 of the polishing process, folks. I'm out of shot again so you can see. This is a very soft mop, this one. Goes on the wheel, and then gloves on, get that wheel spinning, and then we're going to apply the blue compound, and this is really going to shine the club up. So let that get up to speed, a little bit of compound, not too much, and here we go again, polishing away, different directions. Hoggle, grinder, spinning around into the back of that club, the top edge. Nearly done. Doesn't take long, this final process. So there we go. That is the vast majority of this club repolished. Again, just using a microfiber cloth just to give it a nice little buff up. This has come up pretty well. I mean, this club dates back to the 70s and it's seen some action, but I think you'll agree. I'll just get you some really nice close-up shots of this. It's a whole lot better. There's still, well, let me show you. So here we are. Have a little look at that. How long have I been working on this? 10 minutes, something like that. You can see the bottom of the sole here is looking pretty good. I've got out a lot of those big dings and scrapes and deep nicks. Shined that up pretty good. All these little, can you see as the light catches it here, these are all the little like bag clatter marks as the club's gone into the bag. Now I could get that sandpaper attachment out and work on those, but I just don't really see the point really. You know, I don't want to dig too deep into that chrome. So next job is to work on the face, and you can see the face of the club is looking a little bit worse for wear, so I'll show you how we're going to make that look a little bit better, and yeah, we're doing good. Okay everybody, time to work on this club face. So I've gone back to my Dremel here and I've got my little softish wire brush attachment. Again, I'm just going to go easy. I've done a little tester on here and I just want to clean this face up. I don't want to dig too deep into the grooves and ruin the grooves, so let's go. This is adjustable for speed, which is great, so I'm not going to go too crazy on the speed to start with. Maybe a little bit faster than that. You can see it's just sort of taking off the surface rust. Again, I don't want to dig too deep into that chrome. And straight away it starts to look a little bit more shiny, doesn't it? I think that'll do it on that one. Just get a little wire brush in there. So that's the initial stage, and again I've got different grades of wire brushes here which I can go in and just get this looking nice. I don't want to make this face too super shiny, and so I'm just going to go in with one more sort of grade after that, and that'll probably do it. So I'm just going to change the head on this, just unscrew it, pop that out, and we'll just go down to one of the softer grades, which is that one, I believe. Put that in there, lock it in so it doesn't come flying out. Gloves back on, and we get the gloves. So what do you think of the process? Quite satisfying to do, isn't it? I love doing this. Lovely. Okay, that'll do it. Take these gloves off, give it a little wipe. So one of the things that you can do is you can re-groove irons using a re-grooving tool. I'm not a big fan of re-grooving irons, and all I'm just going to do with this is I'm just going to use it just more to sort of clean the grooves out rather than try and cut new grooves. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gently running the re-grooving tool through the bottom of the grooves here. Not cutting new grooves, I'm just trying to take out any bits of debris that are in there. So there's some people who are big fans of re-grooving. I think sometimes it kind of does more harm than good. So right. Job done on that one. Got one more thing to show you, and then we'll show you what it looks like. So one of the final things I want to work on here is the ferrule of the club. The ferrule is just the plastic bit which kind of sits there on the top of the club and just sort of joins everything up and makes everything look pretty. Now there are many different ways of refinishing ferrules. One of the old-fashioned ways that I this ferrule's quite damaged actually. It's got lots of dings and lots of nicks in it, and someone's had a bit of a go at it, I think, trying to repolish it before and made a bit of a mess of it. Wasn't me, promise. So all I'm doing here is I'm just getting a little bit of wire wool and oil. You can use some fine sandpaper as well, and I'm just using the abrasiveness of the wire wool and oil just to sort of take out some of those little dings and nicks, and just rubbing it around there and just moving it around. There's all sorts of fancy refinishing belts that you can put ferrules on. I will show you something right at the end which is really good just for giving it a final shine. Microfiber cloth, just giving it a little rub and shine. It's just furniture polish which I sometimes use just to get a little bit of a shine going on it. And again, I'm not looking for perfection here, I'm just looking for something just to make it look a little bit better than it was, and I'm getting a nice little shine as you can probably see. Okay, spin these cameras round and I'll show you the final thing we can do. Bit of gunk there on that ferrule. Yeah, get that off. Final thing we can do with that ferrule just to shine it up a little bit. The final step really just to finish off this ferrule, folks, is to get a little bit of acetone. I keep your gloves on for this, it's pretty nasty stuff. Just get a cloth, just dip it into the acetone, and then just very gently just rub the acetone across the ferrule. It polishes, it kind of just takes the top coat off it and then just leaves a nice sort of shine to it. Do it a couple of times if you like, but it's pretty nasty stuff this, so keep it off your skin. And I've still got my eye protection on, because you don't want to get this stuff in your eye. And you can see there it's just left a nice little shine on there. So right, final little polish. I'm just going to let that ferrule dry, and we'll give it a final little polish with the microfiber cloth. Pop a new grip on that. Job's a good one. Be right back for the final bit. So there we go, everybody. Job done on that. Just got a grip to put on it. Plenty of those to put on. Giving it a final shine. There's other things I could have done here. I could infill the paint's not bad actually, but we could infill the paint. We could replace the paint here in the Ben Hogan and in the threes here. There's loads of other things I could have done. I've just shined the shaft up a little bit. There was a little bit of surface rust on the shaft, and all I've done there is just very gently just taken a bit of wire wool and rubbed it up and down, and that takes off a little bit of the rusting, and the shaft's in remarkably good condition actually. So hope you enjoyed that. I know there'll be people watching the video who will probably look at what I've done today and say, you've done that wrong, and don't profess to be an expert at refurbishing and repolishing clubs. It's just something that I've picked up over the years, and I'm sure there are better ways to do it and different techniques, but you know, the final outcome seems to be pretty good there. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my repolishing video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, give it a little thumbs up down the bottom. That's it. I've got something coming in this week which for those of you like old clubs, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to spoil it. It's a very rare set of irons which I've managed to get my hands on, and we're going to see what condition they're in when they arrive. We'll show you them as I unbox them, and we might do a little bit of a refurb job on that. I've got another 6 weeks of lockdown, by the way, folks. Today is the 23rd of February, and I'm classed as what they call non-essential business, indoor business here. I can't reopen to the 12th of April, so I've got about another 6 weeks or so. So I've got lots of YouTube stuff to do. Anyway, we will plod on. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.